Sarah and Marcus sat quietly at the campus garden. They were the only ones in the garden. Every other student had gone back to their dorms. The garden was very quiet and conducive for reading. They were both holding different materials which they were reading. Even though they were sitting very close to each other, they had not said anything to each other since they got to the garden. They weren't even studying together. Each of them was reading their own material. They weren't working together as they should have. Andrew suddenly walked into the garden. He froze immediately when he saw Marcus and Sarah sitting at the far left in the garden. They were too engrossed in what they were reading that they didn't notice his presence. Andrew quickly hid behind a tree and stared at them from a distance. He frowned when he saw Marcus sitting very close to Sarah. He glared at them. His eyes suddenly turned red. If those eyes were guns, about 6 bullets would have pierced into Marcus's body. He glared at them with so much pain in his heart. Someone I thought was my friend went behind me to get the woman I love. So people could be this wicked, he said bitterly. Marcus, don't think you've won, because I'll surely come back for you. You'll regret going for the woman I love. I'm going to make you regret doing this to me. Just wait and see. You've just drawn the battle line. You'll surely regret this. I promise you, Andrew swore. He glared at them one last time and left the garden without their awareness. Rachel sat quietly in Emma's room, waiting for her to return. She had been sitting there all alone for close to 2 hours. She was becoming impatient. She had tried calling her several times, but her number was not reachable. She looked at her phone screen and realized it was already 8:15 p.m. I have to leave now, it's late already. But what is she doing out at this time? Even Sarah, who left since 6 p.m., hasn't returned. Will she still be with Marcus until now? What are they even discussing? Why did they even agree to meet up in the first place? I hope it's not what I'm thinking. I'll have to find out. I won't just sit and do nothing, she said, carried her bag, and stood up to leave. The door opened immediately when she stood up, and Emma walked in. She breathed a sigh of relief when she saw Emma. Emma, where have you been? I've been waiting for you for 2 hours now, Rachel said. Why didn't you call me? Emma asked. I called, but it wasn't reachable, Rachel responded. Emma brought out her phone from her bag and realized that her phone was switched off. Oh, sorry, my phone is switched off. Why do you want to see me? Emma asked. Come and sit down, Rachel said, and pulled Emma to sit with her on the bed. By the way, where is Sarah? Emma asked. She left the dorm since 6 p.m. She went to meet Marcus, Rachel responded. Marcus? Emma said, surprised. I thought they weren't on good terms. That was what I thought too. But Marcus called her this evening to meet him at the gate, Rachel responded. Maybe he just wanted to apologize for what he did to Sarah. Whatever the case may be, I'm glad they've settled their differences, Emma said. That's true, Rachel responded. So what do you want to discuss with me? Emma asked. I want to ask. The door suddenly opened, cutting Rachel off from saying what she wanted to say. They both turned their attention to the door to see Sarah standing at the door. She looked exhausted. She walked into the room and went straight to her bed to sit. She dropped her bag beside her. Sarah, where have you been all this while? Rachel asked. I was with Marcus. We were... She suddenly paused when she realized she shouldn't have said that. I mean to say, I was at the campus garden reading. Rachel stared at her suspiciously. She wasn't convinced by Sarah's response. She knew Sarah wanted to say something about Marcus, but suddenly stopped. If you are enjoying this story, kindly do us a favor and subscribe to our channel. It is free and won't cost anything, but it means a lot to us. We are just a small channel trying to grow. Thank you, and back to the video. There must be something going on between Sarah and Marcus. If not, she wouldn't have kept the fact that she was with him all this while a secret, she thought. Sarah stood up from her bed and walked to the door. Where are you going? Emma asked. I want to get my clothes, Sarah responded. Let me come with you. I want to get mine also, Emma said. Okay, let's go then, Sarah responded. Emma stood up from her bed and left the room with Sarah. Rachel rushed to Sarah's bed immediately after they left the room. She took Sarah's bag and opened it. She searched through it to see if she could find anything that proved that Sarah and Marcus were seeing each other. Marcus walked into his room to find Andrew already asleep. He quietly went to his bed and sat. He dropped his books and lay on his bed to catch some sleep. Andrew secretly opened his eyes. He glared at Marcus for some time before closing his eyes to get some sleep. Marcus woke up very early and prepared for lecture. Andrew was not in the room when he woke up. He couldn't believe that Andrew left for lecture so early. He quickly prepared for lecture and left the dorm when he was ready. The class was almost full. Sarah, Emma, and Rachel could be seen sitting at the far left. Marcus and Brandon were occupying the front seats. Andrew was sitting alone at the back. They were all waiting for the professor to arrive. A few minutes later, Tyler walked into the class. He went straight to the podium and faced the class. "Hello, everyone," he called the attention of the class. The class focused their attention on him. "I'm sorry, this class won't be held. The professor is not available. He's attending a conference," Tyler said. Students started leaving the class immediately after Tyler made the announcement. Sarah, Emma, and Rachel stood up to leave, but Tyler approached them immediately. "Hi, ladies," he greeted. "Hi, Tyler," they responded in unison. "Sarah, can I talk to you?" he asked. "Sure," she responded. Emma and Rachel walked ahead. Tyler waited until they had left before he turned to face Sarah. "I'm curious," Tyler said. "Curious about what?" Sarah asked. "Why did I see you and Marcus together? I thought you weren't on good terms," Tyler asked. Sarah stared at him for a while, not sure why he asked such a question. "I'm not fighting with Marcus. We just had a little misunderstanding," she responded. "I saw you alone with him yesterday night. Are you guys—" "I have to leave now. My friends are waiting for me," she cut in immediately. She left his presence without listening to any more questions from him. She didn't know why he was asking her questions about Marcus, and didn't feel like answering questions relating to Marcus. Sarah entered her room and was surprised to see that Emma was not back. She was expecting to meet her in the room since she left before her. Maybe she's gone to her cousin's dorm, she thought. She sat on her bed and removed her shoes. She opened her bag and brought out her notebook. A piece of paper dropped from her bag immediately. She ignored it at first, but later picked it up and unwrapped it. She stared in confusion when she saw the content written on the paper. "Stay away from him. He is evil. He will ruin your life." That was the content of the paper. She stared at the paper confused, as she couldn't understand what those words meant. "Who is this meant for? What is it doing in my bag?" she mumbled. "Who put it in my bag and who is it referring to? I don't think this is for me. Maybe it mistakenly found its way to my bag." She dropped the paper back in her bag and lay on her bed. The content of the paper kept resurfacing in her mind, and she became troubled. Sarah didn't mention it to anyone that she saw a piece of paper warning her to stay away from God knows who in her bag. She kept it to herself. She didn't know who the paper was from and what it was about. She wanted to find out who the paper was from and why it was sent to her. "I must find out who sent this to me and why it was sent to me," she said to herself. The next day in school was quite hectic. They had 3 lectures in a span of 4 hours. One of their professors also had a makeup class with them. Marcus was very exhausted by the end of lectures. He just wanted to go back to his dorm and rest. It was already 5 p.m., and before he would get to his dorm, it would be time for his personal study with Sarah. He left the class without informing Brandon or Andrew. And moreover, Andrew seemed to be angry with him. If you are enjoying this story, kindly do us a favor and subscribe to our channel. It is free and won't cost anything, but it means a lot to us. We are just a small channel trying to grow. Thank you, and back to the video. Just as he stepped out of the class, he heard his name behind him. He turned to see Tyler walking toward him. "Why is he coming to meet me? Is Professor Davis looking for me?" Marcus thought. "What's up, Marcus?" Tyler said, immediately when he got to Marcus. "I'm good," Marcus responded. "Are you leaving already?" Tyler asked. "Yes. Is Professor Davis looking for me?" Marcus asked. No, you can go ahead. I just wanted to say hi," Tyler said. "Okay, thanks. I have to leave now. I'm already exhausted," Marcus said, and made an attempt to leave. "Marcus," Tyler called. "Yes," Marcus responded. "I thought you and Sarah weren't on good terms. Why did I see you both alone at the campus garden?" Tyler asked. Marcus stared at him, not sure why he asked that question. What's wrong with him being seen alone with Sarah? Is he expecting them to keep avoiding each other forever, he thought. "You don't need to answer me. I was just curious. That's all," Tyler continued, when Marcus didn't respond. "You can leave now. See you in class tomorrow." Marcus turned and left his presence without saying anything. Tyler stared at his retreating figure until it was out of sight before leaving. It was already 5:45 p.m. when Marcus got to his dorm. That meant it was almost time for his private study with Sarah. He dropped his bag on his bed and picked up his notebook from the table. He left his room immediately because he was already late. Sarah was seen lying on her bed, while Emma was solving some problems. It was already 6:30 p.m., and she hadn't left to join Marcus for their personal study. She didn't plan on going to meet him. She was still scared about the message written on the piece of paper she saw in her bag. She didn't know if the message was referring to Marcus. Maybe the message was trying to tell her to stay away from Marcus, because it was after she spent time with him that she got that message. Or could it be that Marcus actually put that piece of paper in my bag? Because he was the last person I was with before I saw that paper in my bag, she thought. Yes, it should be him. He might have done that to get back at me. He must have done it to scare me. I just hope it's not him, because if it's him, I won't take it lightly with him. That piece of paper is giving me sleepless nights. A tap on her shoulder brought her back to reality. She turned to see Emma standing beside her. Won't you pick up your call? Your phone has been ringing continuously, and it's distracting me from studying, Emma complained. Sarah was so carried away that she didn't realize that her phone was ringing. She sat up and took the phone from her bed. She stared at the screen. Speaking of the devil, she thought. When she realized that the call was from Marcus, she dropped the phone on her bed to let it continue ringing and lay back down on her bed. Won't you pick up the call? Emma asked. It's not important, Sarah responded. Marcus sat alone at the campus garden with his phone placed to his ear. He was dialing Sarah's number. He removed the phone from his ear and stared at the screen with frustration. That was the 5th time he was calling Sarah, but she wasn't picking up. It was already 7 p.m. He had been sitting there all alone for an hour, waiting for Sarah. There was no way he could do anything meaningful there alone, because Sarah was with all the materials Professor Davis gave them. How can she just leave me here all by myself? If she won't come, shouldn't she have called to inform me, so that I wouldn't have come here to waste my time? She's even ignoring my calls. This is so frustrating, he said in frustration. Marcus stared at his watch and realized it was 7:10 p.m. already. He picked up his book, which was beside him, stood up, and left the garden in annoyance. Just immediately after Marcus left the garden, Andrew came out from the tree he was hiding behind. He had been watching Marcus secretly all the while. He couldn't hide the smile on his face when he saw Marcus so frustrated. He knew Marcus was waiting for Sarah and eventually got frustrated because Sarah didn't show up. He was very happy to see Marcus so angry. You want to steal the woman I love from me? Let's see if it will go your way, Andrew said. He waited for some minutes before leaving the garden. Marcus opened his door and stormed into his room. He went straight to his bed and lay on it. If you are enjoying this story, kindly do us a favor and subscribe to our channel. It is free and won't cost anything, but it means a lot to us. We are just a small channel trying to grow. Thank you, and back to the video. He sighed deeply when he realized that Andrew was not yet back. It seems Andrew is still avoiding me, he thought. I can't believe I just wasted my time out there. If I knew this would happen, I would have saved myself the stress of going there, he said. Let me use this opportunity to review what we learned today, he said, and picked up his bag which he left on his bed. He brought out a notebook from his bag and flipped through pages. A piece of paper fell from the book. What's this? He said and picked up the paper. He unwrapped it and read the content on the paper. His mood suddenly changed when he read what was written on the paper. He stared at the paper in annoyance. If you don't stay away from her, I will ruin your life. That was the content on the paper. Marcus stared at the piece of paper in his hand with so much anger. He was so certain that the message was from Andrew. Andrew, you must be a coward for you to confront me this way, so you cannot come to me personally and confirm if there's anything going on between me and Sarah. So you chose to do it this way. I was even planning on telling you why Sarah and I always meet. But since you choose to go about it this way, I'll have to see what you're capable of doing. I won't tell you why Sarah and I always meet. I'll watch and see how you'll ruin my life, since that's what you plan to do, Marcus said to himself with a frown. Andrew, you must be a coward for you to confront me this way. So you cannot come to me personally to confirm if there's anything going on between me and Sarah. So you chose to do it this way? I was even planning on telling you why Sarah and I always meet. But since you chose to go about it this way, I'll have to see what you're capable of doing. I won't tell you why Sarah and I always meet. I'll watch and see how you'll ruin my life, since that's what you plan to do, Marcus said to himself with a frown. He tore the paper into pieces and dropped it in the trash can. Andrew, you can go ahead and do your worst, he said. Just as he went back to sit on his bed, the door opened and Andrew walked in. Andrew went straight to his bed and lay down without sparing Marcus a glance. Marcus observed him for a while and realized that his face was slightly curved in a smile. So you're happy because you think your threat will have an impact on me. Let's see how it goes, Marcus thought. Marcus observed him for some time before lying on his bed. Sarah stood in front of Professor Davis's office. Tyler had earlier informed her that Professor Davis wanted to see her. She took a deep breath and hoped Marcus didn't tell Professor Davis anything. She knocked on the door and waited for a response. "Come in," Professor Davis's voice sounded from within. Sarah entered the office to see Professor Davis sitting behind his desk. "Good morning, sir," Sarah greeted. "Why are you taking your study with Marcus for granted?" Professor Davis asked immediately without responding to her greeting. So Marcus actually reported me to Professor Davis, she thought. "Do you think this is a joke? You got the opportunity to represent your class and you're taking it for granted," Professor Davis continued. "So Marcus went and reported me to Professor Davis after what he did. What is he trying to achieve by doing that? So he's trying to make me look bad. He's trying to make Professor Davis see me as a bad person," Sarah thought. "Let this not repeat itself. You may leave now," Professor Davis said. Sarah lowered her head a bit and left Professor Davis's office. Sarah spotted Marcus sitting alone in an empty classroom and walked straight to meet him. She had been looking for him since she left Professor Davis's office. She stood in front of him and glared at him when she got to him. Marcus looked up from his table to see Sarah glaring at him. "What's that look for?" he thought. "If there's anyone who should be angry, it should be him." "Why did you go and tell Professor Davis that I deliberately missed our study after what you did?" Sarah asked. "What's wrong with what I said to him? Didn't you miss it? You made me wait all night, and when I tried calling, you ignored my calls," Marcus responded. "Why won't I ignore your calls after what you did?" Sarah said. "What did I do?" Marcus asked. "Oh, please, stop acting innocent. You know what you did," Sarah said. "I don't know what you're talking about," Marcus responded. "I don't have time to argue with you. I just want to tell you never to try such nonsense with me again. If you are enjoying this story, kindly do us a favor and subscribe to our channel. It is free and won't cost anything, but it means a lot to us. We are just a small channel trying to grow. Thank you, and back to the video. Because if you do, I won't take it lightly with you," Sarah said, and stormed out of the class. Marcus stared blankly into the air, as he could not understand what Sarah was talking about. Brandon sat quietly in the campus dining hall, waiting for Rachel. He had made up his mind to tell Rachel how he felt toward her. He was very sure that he liked Rachel and would want to date her, so there was no need keeping it a secret from her. "I'll tell her today. Yes, I will," he mumbled. He felt a hand on his shoulder and turned to see Rachel standing beside him. She was smiling broadly. He froze when he saw her. He was so carried away that he didn't notice when Rachel walked into the dining hall. "Hi, Rachel, you're here already," he said, masking his surprise with a smile. "Please have a seat." "Thank you," Rachel responded and sat down. "Sorry for keeping you waiting." "It's nothing," Brandon responded. "I hope you haven't had lunch already, because if you have, without waiting for me, I'll break your head," Rachel joked. "No, why should I? I invited you here, so it's only proper for me to wait for you before having lunch," Brandon responded. "That's very kind of you," Rachel said. Brandon signaled the server and he approached them. The server took their orders and served them. They ate their food silently. After a few minutes of silence, Brandon spoke. "Rachel," he called. Rachel looked up from her table and faced him. "Yes, dear," she responded. "There's something I'd like to tell you," Brandon said. "Okay, I'm listening," Rachel responded. "First, I'd like to ask you a question," Brandon said. "Go ahead," Rachel responded. "Do you have a—" "Hi, guys," Tyler interrupted them. They both turned to see him standing beside them with a plate of food. "Can I join you guys?" he asked. Brandon stared at him in annoyance. He just ruined his plan with his presence. Why would he choose to join them when there were empty seats in the dining hall? "Sure, you can join us," Rachel responded. Tyler placed his food on the table and sat down beside Rachel. "So what are you guys discussing?" Tyler asked. "What do you want to know?" Brandon mumbled. "Nothing, we're just having lunch," Rachel responded. "Brandon, I hope you know that you're paying for my lunch too," Tyler said. Brandon felt like giving him a heavy knock on his head for saying such, after ruining his plan. "Sorry, bro, I already budgeted for 2, he responded, masking his anger with a smile. "Okay, no problem, bro," Tyler said. They continued eating silently. After a while of silence, Tyler spoke again. "I always see Marcus and Sarah together at night. Rachel, do you think there's something going on between them?" Tyler asked. "What's your business if they're seen together? Won't you mind your own business?" Brandon mumbled to himself. Rachel stared at Tyler for some time without saying anything. She already guessed that there might be something going on with Marcus and Sarah, and what Tyler just said to her just confirmed her hunch. She suddenly became very sad. "I don't know if there's anything going on between them. Sarah hasn't told me anything yet," she responded, masking her sadness with a smile. I'm just saying because I always see them together, Tyler said. Rachel dropped her fork and stood up. I'm leaving, she said. So soon? Tyler asked. Yes, I have to leave now, she said. I'm leaving also, Brandon said, and stood up. Rachel walked ahead, while Brandon went to pay the bill. He joined her when he was done, and they left the dining hall together. Marcus opened his door and entered his room. Andrew was not in the room when he entered. He went straight to his bed and sat down. He brought out his phone from his pocket and dialed Sarah's number. He placed the phone to his ear and waited for her to pick up the call. Hello, Sarah's voice sounded at the other end. I hope you're coming. Don't keep me waiting like the other day, Marcus said. I'm coming, Sarah responded. Why are you even calling me? It's just 4 p.m. I need to remind you so that you won't keep me waiting, Marcus said. I'll come, Sarah responded and ended the call immediately. Marcus dropped the phone on his bed and picked up his bag. He opened it and brought out a notebook. He opened the first page of the notebook and saw a piece of paper placed in it. Not again, he said. He knew what the content on the paper was likely to be. He unwrapped it and read the content. After warning you to stay away from her, you still went ahead to wait for her at the garden. Since you have refused to listen to my warnings, watch what will happen to you. I will destroy you. You won't escape my wrath this week. I promise you that. That was exactly what Marcus read on the paper. Instead of getting angry, he became a bit scared. This is getting out of hand. Why would Andrew be sending me such scary messages? I need to put a stop to this before something bad happens, he said. He dropped the paper on his bed and rushed to Andrew's bed. He took Andrew's notebook from his bed and went back to his own bed. He opened a page in the notebook and compared the handwriting with the one on the piece of paper. His eyes widened in shock when he realized that the handwriting was not the same. He suddenly became weak. The messages are not from Andrew, he said. Then who is sending me these scary messages? He became very scared that he did not know who was trying to harm him and what the person planned to do.